Viewers, you're watching a special edition of Explosive Exclusive at 7 p.m. Just as we had promised at 6, this story is getting bigger. Our investigation into not just the deaths of Sushant Singh Rajput, but also Disha Salian has reached a very, very critical point. Now, viewers, let me also tell you at 8 p.m., we are going to break the most definitive story on the Sushant Singh Rajput case, the mystery, the death mystery. No other channel has come close to this. Our teams are working behind the scenes very, very hard to put together this once, quite literally, once in a lifetime news break that is going to completely alter the dynamics of this entire story. It is going to lead to furious questions being asked of the police and of those who call themselves insiders, the inner circle of Sushant Singh Rajput. They will all have to be called. They will all be questioned. And one or two of them might even end up in jail if they can't come up with the right answers. Now, viewers, that story we'll put out at 8 p.m. But right now, we have managed to speak to an individual who heads the entire post-mortem cell of the Mumbai Police. The man's name is Dr. SM Patil. He's the head police surgeon, and he has told us that the Disha Salian case, Madhav, is been completely, at least from a forensic point of view, mishandled, botched up. The police should have been doing certain things, making certain requests of the forensic doctors, but did not do so.
This is an admission of lapses from the horse's mouth, because it does not get more serious than this, Rahul.
Yes.
This is the doctor who is responsible. He is the head police surgeon, and such a person admitting that yes, there were certain lapses is very, very significant. Remember, questions have been asked about the fact that it took 48 hours for the post-mortem to be carried out. If there were swabs taken, what is the result of those swabs? We don't know, because it's almost 2 months since that incident had taken place.
Absolutely, very good point. And let me tell you, there are going to be 3 significant revelations from Dr. Patil. Number one, viewers, he's going to tell us that for 48 hours, no one conducted an autopsy on Disha Salian. Now, we can understand that there is COVID testing, but that's only 24 hours. Why was another 24 hours wasted? We don't know. How is it that the FSL report has still not been submitted? The FSL report is still with the Kalina forensic lab.
And it's a high-profile case, Rahul. What happens in a high-profile case typically is that top officials would be calling, top officials would be in touch with the chief of the forensic science laboratory, and they would certainly put pressure on them to bring out their results. And in this case, that has still not happened, despite the Bihar police coming in, despite the CBI actually taking cognizance of this case, despite the Supreme Court hearing it. Can you believe that the public does not know, in this massive issue of interest of people today, what has happened to Disha Salian? Because there are those who believe that there could be some link between these two deaths. We don't know, and we're not subscribing to that, but it's important to set the record straight.
And the third and biggest disclosure, viewers, is that the investigating officer in the Disha Salian mystery death case did not seek photographs either of the crime scene or of the mortal remains of Disha Salian after her death. Now, viewers, this is a major, major lapse, because photographs can reveal a lot about a crime scene, and also, of course, the state of the body when it was recovered. Why was this not done? Why did the investigating officer not ask the forensic investigators to do this is a million-dollar question. Who was Disha Salian? She was the manager of Sushant Singh Rajput. She died on June 8th, just about 6 days before Sushant Singh Rajput's death. Many people are saying that the facts are not quite adding up. These suicide theories, both of them, are just too convenient. Now let's speak, in fact, to Dr. SM Patil, the head police surgeon, or the head surgeon of the Mumbai Police, who is in charge of forensic affairs. Listen in.
आपका जो पीएम प्रोसेस था, पोस्टमार्टम प्रोसेस, उसको वीडियोग्राफ या फोटोग्राफ किया गया था?
वो तो ये पुलिस को मालूम होगा सब, अभी वो मेरे को तो ये मालूम है, पुलिस किए होंगे ना।
नहीं, बट आपका प्रोटोकॉल क्या है? वीडियोग्राफ, फोटोग्राफ करते हैं आप पोस्टमार्टम्स?
नहीं, पुलिस अगर बोले तो ही करना पड़ेगा ना, तो है ये है।
आप लोग नहीं
दिख रहा है पूरा। हाँ,
आप लोग फोटोग्राफ वगैरह नहीं करते हो?
हम लोग जरूरी है तो करते हैं, बट जरूरी कैसा है कि पुलिस ने इंग्लिश में बोलता है ना।
तो पुलिस ने आपको इंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं दिए थे इसको फोटोग्राफ करने के लिए?
नहीं।
All right, this is very significant because now in the wake of the CBI taking over this case, will this also be something that could potentially come under the lens of the CBI? And the reason we are asking this is the fact that several have raised questions about whether there is any link between the two deaths. Is it just too much of a coincidence? These are some of the points that are being raised. And before I go across to our reporters, Priyank Tripathi is live with us, Arunil is live with us, we also have Kajal and Siddhant joining us live. I just want to read out the list of lapses that have occurred 48 hours before the post-mortem has taken place. Admissibly, there has been no photography or videography of the entire post-mortem procedure. Also, of course, some serious questions about why the dummy test was not conducted, why forensic experts were not present at that particular site. All of this leading to some serious questions about the manner in which forensics were actually handled. And I want to go across first to Siddhant, who's joining us on the story. Siddhant, some very, very important questions as far as lapses that not just the Mumbai police, but also the forensic scientists involved would have to answer.
Well, absolutely, Madhav. You know, it's good we mentioned it before that we are not connecting the two cases, but the fact remains that why the post-mortem procedure was not videographed. This question surely goes out to Mumbai Police. But yes, I have spoken to Mumbai Police officers before this news break, and what they are telling me, the delay, they are giving a reason for the delay. They have to say that as per the protocol in Maharashtra, a body has to be tested for COVID first, and then post-mortem has to be conducted. And they followed that. On 9th, they tested body for COVID, and on 11th they got a report and immediately autopsy was conducted. At the same time, you know, there are several other questions also raised, Madhav, that why the dummy and the reconstruction was not done at the crime spot, at the incident where incident took place. That's absolutely right, and this is a question that we are raising and we are asking to Mumbai Police that why it was not done. Now they have to say that since nobody from the family or the friends raised any suspicion even after the Salian's death, and they did not blame anybody in their statement, this was perhaps the reason that this particular procedure was not followed. Now yesterday, after Times Now's news break and campaign, they had asked people to come out and give information if people have any information regarding her death first. Second, they are saying that they still have time as any investigation gets 90 days to be completed. So
right.
they are still investigating the case and all probable angles in the case.
Okay, let me also quickly go across to other reporters who are live with us. You know, Kajal, this is some serious lapses. We know that there are procedures that are mandated as far as videography, as far as this post-mortem is concerned. If there were swabs taken, for instance, you know, it is over or close to 2 months since the incident actually took place, and even despite the fact that Bihar police has come in, the family has filed an FIR there in Bihar, the Supreme Court has heard this matter, or at least as far as Riya Chakrabarti's plea and that of others is concerned, and now the CBI just a few hours ago has gone ahead and registered FIRs, we still don't know what the content of those swab reports are. Why not make it public?
That's a question that the Mumbai Police will have to answer, because so far they have tried to maintain that there is no connection between the two cases. But of course, given the fact that there are so many questions that are being raised, it would be of course in the interest of the Mumbai Police to try and come forward and actually talk about what exactly went on there, and that would hopefully clear off everything. If all of those theories are bunkum according to them, then that would be clarified, and if not, then, you know, further investigation, of course, will be taken over by the central investigating agencies that are already, you know, taking interest in this particular case. So we don't yet know why the Mumbai Police has not come out with this. We have sought several statements from them regarding this, but so far they have maintained that they do not see any connection between the two cases and that they have not closed either of the cases.
Well, let me also take this across to Arunil. Arunil, it is a fact that for 2 days, the mortal remains of Disha Salian decomposed before the actual tests were carried out. Now, the question is this, that a COVID test can be carried out, the results can be available within 24 hours. Was it really necessary that there was a 48-hour delay in carrying out this important forensic procedure?
Well, that is a valid point made by you, Madhav, and there is no secret that actor Sushant Singh Rajput and Disha Salian knew each other. They were acquaintances, and both of them committing suicide within a span of 1 week certainly should have raised eyebrows within the Mumbai police circle, at least after the suicide of actor Sushant Singh Rajput. And with respect to the autopsy also, which was conducted at the Bhagwati Hospital in Borivali, lot of glaring errors, as you rightly mentioned, have come up. Why the phone, in fact, mobile phone of Disha as well, was sent to the forensic department after 4 days. Now, that is a significant amount of time. If at all, if anybody wants to tamper with the evidence, he or she can easily do that. And if at all, the other errors also, was there a cover-up by the Mumbai Police? That is the main question that arises. And if there was a cover-up, on whose insistence this cover-up was being made, that the fans of actor Sushant Singh Rajput are asking on this. And now with the case, if the case goes to the CBI, we can expect the CBI to probe this angle as well.
Absolutely, and we have some breaking news coming in at this point of time. Before I go across to our reporters, just want to quickly bring us this update as far as CBI is concerned. Now, we have managed to access the inside details of the CBI SIT. Manoj Shashidhar will be heading this, DIG Gagandeep will be supervising the probe, and Anil Yadav will be the investigating officer in this probe. Let me quickly take this across to Siddhant as well. Siddhant, we have managed to access the details of the SIT which will be probing into this entire matter, and it is an SIT that has worked on several important cases in the past as well.
Well, that's really interesting, Madhav, because the details that even we are getting is that this particular SIT has worked on several high-profile cases, which includes cases of Vijay Mallya and several other cases. Now, the case has officially been transferred after DOPT's notification. The case has already been transferred to CBI, and one of the finest teams of SIT have been given this particular task in Central Bureau of Investigation to investigate this particular high-profile case of Sushant Singh Rajput's death. Now, what is going to be the next course of action is yet to be seen, but the fact is that they are still in touch with Bihar Police, as cognizable offence is registered with Bihar Police. Now, the documents and the paperwork needs to be transferred to the CBI, and the official process will take at least 1 and 2 days, and right after that there could be a possibility that teams can head straight to Mumbai.
I'll leave it there for the moment. I'd like to thank you as well as Kajal and Arunil for joining us on the broadcast. Let me quickly go across to our guests who are joining us live. Live with us at the moment is Ravi Srivastava, political analyst. Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate of the Supreme Court, joins us live. With us also is KK Manan, advocate. Asif Bhamla, leader of the BJP, is also with us on this broadcast. Sanjay Hegde, as a senior advocate in the Supreme Court, these questions that are being raised as far as the death of Disha Salian, the forensic probe that was required, several such lapses that have been raised. No dummy test that has been conducted. The fact that if there were swab reports about 2 months, close to 2 months after her death, we still don't know the result of those reports. Also, no forensic scientists at the location, and also nail clippings and several such aspects not being preserved. Post-mortem not being videotaped or photographed. These are just some of the lapses that I've read out. Prima facie, do you think that there has been a botch-up by those authorities who are responsible for this?
Well, as far as the Disha Salian case is concerned, there is as yet nothing conclusive which links it up to Sushant Singh.
Sanjay Hegde, I request you to turn down the volume of your television because unfortunately the audio is echoing. I'm going to just come back to you in a minute. Let me quickly bring in Ravi Srivastava on that. Ravi Srivastava, nobody is saying that there is any direct link. But the fact that a person who was associated with Sushant Rajput has committed suicide just about a week before his alleged suicide, this raises some questions. There are those who are questioning whether these are just too coincidental to be termed suicides. And that's why it's important that whatever the facts are on the table, the Mumbai Police bring it out. because these lapses reveal the fact that the procedures that are there for the police and forensic scientists to follow were not followed.
Madhav, first of all, linking both the deaths of Disha Salian and Sushant Singh Rajput is premature, because there has not been.
We are not linking it, sir.
Evidence.
We are just raising questions about the probe.
Yeah. No, there is no issue on raising. And second thing is that definitely let the Bombay Police have to provide. Mr. Asif Bamla, please allow me to finish up.
Asif Bamla, please let him make his point. Let him make his point, please.
What I am saying, Mr. Asif Bamla, please.
Asif Bamla, I'll come to you in just a minute. Let him quickly make his point.
Madhav, let me quote one statement from the family of Disha Salian on social media, where they have requested, they have appealed that they do not want the death of their family member Disha Salian to be probed. Now it's a job of the police to do it. Let the police do it, or let any other...
Sir, but that's exactly the point. The fact that they were not doing their job. The fact that what they're supposed to do, from videographing the post-mortem to sending forensic scientists to that spot to actually carrying out a dummy test, none of that was done, Mr. Ravi Srivastava. We are only questioning the authorities for not fulfilling their duty.
Let the Bombay Police version come out. Let them come and say they have to submit the details before the Honorable Supreme Court also. They have to give all the explanation that why they did not.
All right. Let the Bombay Police come out. Ravi Srivastava says, let's request our guests to stay on with us. We're going to continue with this discussion in just a few moments. We're slipping into a quick break, but this discussion continues. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our continuing coverage. Exclusive story that we've been reporting since the last few moments has been the fact that several lapses have been reported by the head police surgeon of the Mumbai Police, Dr. SM Patil, who has admitted that there were some serious lapses. Let me quickly go back to our guest. Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, is with us. Sanjay, nobody has any link directly as far as Disha's death and Sushant's death is concerned, but it is in public interest to come out with the various forensic reports. And what really, of course, is very, very shocking is that there have been so many lapses. And it's coming from the horse's mouth.
Yes, as far as the Disha Salian case is concerned, I heard somebody else also say that the parents have said that they do not suspect anything. At that stage, there would have been routine investigations. It is not uncommon that forensics take a long time for the reports and all that to come by. It is not uncommon in any suicide case which is investigated in the normal course. Linkages are being drawn, but this is all like 20/20 vision after the incident. Unless there is anything specific to link the two cases, it would also not come within the purview of the investigation into the case.
Okay. All right. Let me go across to Asif Bamla on that. Asif Bamla, there's no link between the two cases. Delays are very normal, says Sanjay Hegde. And you also heard what Ravi Srivastava said earlier, that Mumbai Police can investigate into it and find out what the truth of the matter is. Your response to that?
It is so unfortunate that
there are two unnatural death cases, and both have been working together for a very long time, and still we are arguing that there could be no connectivity in the both cases. It is the narrative has been clear that Disha's death, I mean, it's not obviously proved because it's yet under investigation, that Disha's death was and the suicide was known to Sushant, and that acknowledgement that he had became the cause of his own death.
Okay.
But now no one is questioning. Investigations need to be fair.
It's for the investigators to establish that. I'll just say that it is all presumptive at the moment, but certainly not everything adds up from the way we see it. But let me go across to KK Manan. KK Manan, questions have been raised about whether there has been a deliberate attempt at scuttling the probe when it comes to Sushant Singh Rajput's death is concerned. But now, with questions coming up once again as far as Disha Salian's own forensic reports, so on and so forth, are concerned. As I have just enlisted for our viewers, there seem to be a number of unanswered questions about whether there is a pattern now emerging. Mr. Manan.
You see, there are a number of inconsistencies. There are a number of flaws in the case, not only Sushant Singh Rajput's case and Disha Saliani's case. It is not a coincidence. Rather, both cases are related to each other. The investigating agency should have started from the circumstances under what Disha has committed suicide, and report, you see that the investigation or the inquiry rather will be conducted under 174 of the CRPC.
Right.
For that purpose, under the supervision of a SDM or the DM, and SDM or DM.
Well, sir, certainly the fact is that Mumbai Police has been looking into this case for over a month and a half. The fact is now that the CBI, as our reporters have been telling us, has just filed an FIR into this entire matter, and we certainly hope that whichever agency investigates it, they get to the bottom of the matter and the truth comes out in public interest. On that note, Mr. Manan, Asif Bamla, Sanjay Hegde and Ravi Srivastava, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on Times Now this evening. Slipping into a quick break for now.